Welcome to another weekly update with us at Ogbourne Downs. So this week we'll cover our course setups and general course weekly update. We'll give a project update, so how we've been getting on at the 8th. I mentioned last week the digger was broken down, so we've used that as a good opportunity to do lots and lots of odd jobs on the golf course. So we'll get those in there as well, and we've also had the Air 2 G2 in. So those subjects will be down in the description. If you want to flick to any of those, you can click on the times down in there and go straight to there. So I'll start off with our weekly update. We're in a really good routine at the moment, very similar to previous weeks with greens being cut one day, rolled the next. As mentioned before, on our 4 to 5 day cycle, with, as I've mentioned, with tees and green surrounds and changing holes. This week the tees got cut twice, so it's just once changing holes and cutting the green surrounds on the Wednesday, and those holes will go through to Monday morning where we'll change them, and we get back to changing those twice a week next week. And we gave fairways a good tidy up this week. They got over those with a cut, so that gave those a tidy 2. Still on 2 aprons cuts a week. So yeah, in a really good routine at the moment. Weather isn't affecting it too much. We've had 3 really, really great weeks of dry weather, so that gives us a good routine and gives us an opportunity to set up a good golf course as each and every week, rather than working around the weather, which is great, and I hope that's being enjoyed by all. We have seen a bit of disease out on the greens. That comes with the sort of weather that we have been having. We're very, very mild, heavy dews. So it's almost quite humid winter conditions. So that, and dry as well. That really, really suits the pathogens of disease. Where when you get a lot of rain, that can wash a lot of the pathogens out, and they can struggle to grow. When it's wet or when it's frosty. But when we get these mild, nice temperatures, which is great for setting golf courses up and playing golf, that does create a high pressure situation with disease. So we're very, very lucky at Ogbourne Downs. I suppose I speak of the negative effects of having many different grass species in our greens often enough, where they're doing different things, and that can affect ball roll and performance at times. But it does work very well in the winter, because they're all performing to a similar standard, because they're not growing at different rates, and that makes us and it helps us be very resistant to disease, because there's lots of the disease generally only attacks the one type of grass, which is mainly the Poa annua. So it just gets in the Poa. So we're very, very lucky at Ogbourne. We tend to only spray about once per winter. The high pressure situations tend to be between October and December for us. So we tend to see it once, give it a good spray, try and catch it early, and then that's us almost covered. And as I said, we're very, very lucky. A lot of other golf courses that have a lot of Poa in their greens and things will be on a preventative sprays, which is quite expensive, and regular expensive sprays from August all the way through till Christmas. But as I said, that's the disease has reared its head a little bit in recent week or two on our site, and so we've been out and given it a spray, and that should check all that and knock all that back, and we should be good for that not spreading too far. Also, we've worked on weeds in bunkers this week. We've given them a spray. It's quite natural this time of year for us to have a high content of weeds. One of our bunker rake always happens on a Friday morning at 5 a.m. and it's pretty much been dark since, I think it gets dark at 5. It's still dark at 5 a.m. at the end of August. So almost from the end of August, at least one of our bunker rakes each week has been dark. So you don't always sometimes this can be hard to stay on top of the weeds, because as I said, you're raking in the dark and those sort of things, which is ideal for a setup, but sometimes you perhaps miss some of those more attention to detail stuff. So yeah, we've got out and we've got out and sprayed all the weeds off in the bunkers, as you can see by the photos, and you might see a bit of dye in some of those. So they will die back, and we'll get the worst of those picked up, and they'll die back over the next week or two as well. So that keeps them nice and clean and weed free. So that's what we've been up to this week, and then I'll move on to some more project based stuff next. An update on the 8th chalk scrape bunker. The digger was fixed latter end of the week, so we were able to put a few hours into that at the end, towards the end of the week. And that's really starting to take shape now. It's looking really good. All the turf's on the nose there, and that just needs sort of edging up. We've also we've quarried some of the chalk from that bunker into that face, so it sits very white and looks very chalky. It was previously it was mixed with a little bit of topsoil, and didn't look quite clean, that clean chalk look that we're looking for. So that's happened this week, and we've tidied up some more of the edges and started to put a couple more of those islands in. Those, as I think I've talked about it before, but those islands were just trying to create a little bit more of interesting shapes into there, rather than just being a wide open round bowl. It just gives it a more sort of rustic, natural looking shape. So that'll keep that interesting and on the eye, and it's really coming together, and put some work in there to turf all those banks, and as I said, move some of the chalk around. So I'd like to think that should get finished next week, and we can put an end to that job, and that will be all tidied up, finished, and looking great. So odd jobs on the golf course this week. As I said, with the digger going down, we took an opportunity to crack on and do lots of works that had been on the to-do list for a wee while, and just use that as a week to get to some of those really. We introduced frost holes into the front of the greens. What we do during very frosty weather or very wet weather with the greens over winter is to protect the main part of the green and just play to the very fronts of the greens, so that we can still go out there, still play on 18 holes, still play on keep to main greens, but we're just playing to that front portion, so to try and protect the remainder of the green, and that'll be highlight. I'm sure that's highlighted in some of these photos. So that's the idea behind that. We've planted the gorse on the bank at the end of the first pathway, so that's all been introduced there to get a bit of extra height out of that bank for health and safety, and on to separate the old putting green 10th tees from any wild shots off the first, as we had a bit of a health and safety incident there last year. So that's been so the gorse has gone in there and that will grow. We've planted lavender all around some areas, some of the garden beds in around the car park, so that's around the shoe cleaner, near the wall at the first tee, and the sleeper wall at the entrance to the golf club as well. And also at the entrance to the golf club, we've put some of the ornamental grasses in, so to make that a non-maintenance garden beds. So all those areas have a weed liner underneath to stop the weeds coming up through, and then they're barked on top, and then they've got some of those grasses and lavenders in to be a non-maintenance garden bed. So they look nice and don't take lots of labor hours to maintain, which is great for first impressions in at the front of the golf club and in the car park too. We've also put some of our coarse soil down on in a couple of high wear areas, such as the second path, and also we've had some animals digging in on one of the banks of the first greenside bunker on the left. So yeah, we filled all those in. And then give them some seed and rope them off, and let those areas recover. We've also introduced some of this netting into some of our animal damaged areas. So 13th fairway, the 11th fairway, two fairways which come to mind, which do get rabbit diggings on quite regularly, and then we'll go out there and we'll divot tees, and then with some of the remaining soil we have, we'll put them in the rabbit holes on those fairways on our way in, if we have time at the end of that divot. But quite often we're finding that that's just getting dug back out again by any rabbits that are living in those areas. So we put these netting over, so that the animals don't get an opportunity to go back into those areas and burrow them back out. Obviously, those areas are and will be GUR. But yeah, that netting will give the seed in there a good opportunity to germinate and turn it back into grass, and should hopefully help with reducing the amount of rabbit scrapes that we have on those fairways. We've also done a little job on the fourth bunker where we had an animal scraping that was digging out that bunker, and it was becoming untidy and difficult to cut around, and so yeah, we've got in there and turfed that, and then put some cores just around the outside of that to tidy that up. So yeah, they're the odd jobs that we've got out and done. As I said, they've been on the to-do list for a while, so it was a good opportunity this week to get out and do those and tidy some of those maintenance jobs up.
So this is the Air 2 GT which we have on hire today. We're using this to try and break up some of the lower soil profile on the short game here, and we've done the left side of the first and the right side of the third, where we have a few drainage issues. Water's just building up during wet periods. So the idea of this is it will send that tine down 350 mil, and then it will blast a load of compressed air in, and that will sort of break up and fragment and create a few air channels down at the bottom of that profile, to allow air movement and water movement that comes with that. So it's a great machine with very little disturbance. So we'll try this as a primary go to help reduce the puddling up in these areas. Should this not work, then we'll get a pipe in. It's over that far side, particularly where we do see a lot of build up. As I said previously, when we reconstructed this area, we used a native chalk that was under here to shape up, which is a great product for drainage, but it just lost some of those drainage properties sometimes when you move it around, and then compact it with a 13 ton digger. You can sort of over compact it and squash it all together and lose some of those drainage properties. So I'll zoom in now so you can get a better look at exactly what it's doing and those tines going down.
That's what we've been up to on the course this week. So another busy week of pushing in the right direction, which is great. I haven't got a 100% plan ready for next week. What we will do though is carry on at that 8th quarry. I'd like to try and get that finished next week, and then all turfed up and finished off. The project that will start thereafter will be to level off the 17th winter tee. So we'll take all the turf off of that, because that's probably our most uneven tee. And a relatively small one, which we can do and manage. So we'll take the turf off of that, give that all a level, then put the turf back on, so that plays nice and level, and it can be an area which can be used to stop that main tee getting battered all year round. So that would be that. It's also Tom Mundy, our apprentice, last full week with us also, so we may well do a few maintenance jobs to tidy some of the golf course up, such as doing a flymo strim run where we flymo one band around the tees and strim edge all the bunkers up. So again, that's not a concrete plan. We'll start looking towards what we'll start making a plan towards the end of the weekend, ready for next week. But they're just some of the things we may get up to next week.